worried with continued accidents on Turnpike Mazabuka Road. In international news, DRC court sets up free Felix Tshisekedi's Ali. And in sports news, Absa Cup final moved forward to 30th April 2022. With the details, join me after a short break.
Refresh your body, mind and soul this sizzling summer. Introducing the refreshing, clear with nature's test AquaGel purified mineral water, ultimately designed to quench your thirst with a revitalizing and refreshing taste. Stock available: 750 ml, 500 ml, 350 ml, 500 ml sachets and 18.9 liters containers. Drink and enjoy your purified and corporately packaged water which passes all tests. Live better, drink better. Call 0776 452710 or 0760 732565 now to make your order. AquaJ for a refreshing sip.
And now the news in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema says government will not condone pilferage of drugs from public health institutions. President Hakainde says it is unacceptable that drugs procured at a great cost continue to find their way in private pharmacies and deny poor Zambians access. Speaking upon arrival at Kasama Airport this morning, Mr. Hichilema said his administration will not take kindly to such illegality. He explained that his administration wants to ensure that all public health facilities are well stocked with essential drugs and equipment. Government has also prioritized the recruitment of health personnel to strengthen the provision of health care services. And President Hichilema says there is need for the Ministry of Education to work with local authorities to procure desks for schools. He said he is aware that most schools, especially in rural areas, have recorded overwhelming enrollment following the introduction of the free education policy. He also stated that the ongoing recruitment of 30,000 teachers will further improve the quality of education. Earlier, Northern Province Minister Leonard Mbao hailed President Hakainde Hichilema for ensuring that all regions receive their fair share of development. Mr. Mbao said the province has been allocated a number of key projects that propel socio-economic development. President Hichilema is in Northern Province on a one-day official visit. The Zambia Tax Platform has called on the Zambia Revenue Authority to strengthen its enforcement towards the use of electronic fiscal devices to fight tax evasion and non-compliance by businesses that are registered for VAT. In a statement issued to Musanza TV, Platform Socio-Economic and Investment Monitoring Analyst Peter Momba said that smuggling of goods across selected borders has also remained a challenge. Mr. Mumba added that the ZRA should continue conducting activities aimed at tightening border operations to limit smuggling, which will improve collection of custom duties. Meanwhile, the Zambia Tax Platform has commended the Zambia Revenue Authority for exceeding the set target for Q1 on tax collection. The amount of tax revenue collected by the Zambia Revenue Authority in the first quarter of 2022 exceeded its target. ZRA collected a net of 1.3 billion kwacha tax revenues in excess of the 21.1 billion kwacha target that was set for the first quarter. We seem not to have the clip, however, the news continues. Transparency International Zambia Executive Director Maurice Nyambe has explained that the Drug Enforcement Commission is in order to re-arrest a former Konkola Copper Mines provisional liquidator, Milingo Lungu, barely days after he was set free through a nolle prosequi following instructions from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. According to the story in the edition of the News Adika's newspaper, the DPP wrote a letter to the Director General of the DEC demanding that DEC should urgently explain the basis for re-arresting Mr. Milingo Lungu following the DPP's nolle prosequi. Mr. Nyambe is dismayed that the Director of Public Prosecutions has instructed the Drug Enforcement Commission to give reasons for the decision to re-arrest Mr. Milingo Lungu. He has since urged the DPP to desist from against abrogating this constitutional principle by acting outside the parameters of what the law provides for the operations of the DPP. Let's go. Inasmuch as the
Okay. Well, my colleague Well, my colleague approximately mentioned the point. I won't agree on the way you speak. However, the point is that we are encouraging.
Astia said we note with dismay that the Director of Public Prosecutions has instructed the Drug Enforcement Commission to give reasons for the decision to rearrest Mr. Milingolungu. According to the story,
The Zambia Tax Platform commends ZRA for exceeding the set target for Q1 on tax collections. However, there are still some areas worth noting with concern. For example, tax revenues collected from VAT, customs and excise duties were all below target. Then also income taxes amounted to 63.9% of the total tax revenue, which is a clear indication that the country relies heavily on direct taxes. So while the ZRA's performance is encouraging, it is of concern that consumption-based taxes have not performed so well. The Zambia Tax Platform commends ZRA for exceeding the set target for Q1 on tax collections. However, there are still some areas worth noting with concern. For example, tax revenues collected from VAT, customs and excise duties were all below target. Then also income taxes amounted to 63.9% of the total tax revenue, which is a clear indication that the country relies heavily on direct taxes. So while the ZRA's performance is encouraging, it is of concern that consumption-based taxes have not performed so well, despite improved macroeconomic conditions such as the lowered inflation rate. The Zambia Tax Platform commends ZRA for exceeding the set target for Q1 on tax collections. However, there are still some areas worth noting with concern. For example, tax revenues collected from VAT, customs and excise duties were all below target. Then also income taxes amounted to 63.9% of the total tax revenue, which is a clear indication that the country relies heavily on direct taxes. So while the ZRA's performance is encouraging, it is of concern that consumption-based taxes have not performed so well, despite improved
sincerely apologize for that radio transmission that was due to circumstances beyond our control. However, we continue with our main news. Transparency International Zambia Executive Director Maurice Nyambe has explained that the Drug Enforcement Commission is in order to rearrest a former Konkola Copper Mines provisional liquidator Milingolungu barely days after he was set free through a nolle prosequi following instructions from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. According to the story in the edition of the News Diggers, the DPP wrote a letter to the Director General of the DEC demanding that the DEC should urgently explain the basis for rearresting Mr. Milingolungu following the DPP's nolle prosequi. Mr. Nyambe is dismayed that the Director of Public Prosecutions has instructed the Drug Enforcement Commission to give reasons for the decision to rearrest Mr. Lungu. He has since urged the DPP to desist from against abrogating the Constitution principle by acting outside the parameters of what the law provides for the operation of the DPP.
Astia said we note with dismay that the Director of Public Prosecutions has instructed the Drug Enforcement Commission to give reasons for the decision to rearrest Mr. Milingolungu. According to the story in today's edition of the News Diggers newspaper, the DPP wrote a letter to the Director General of the DEC demanding that the DEC should urgently explain the basis for rearresting Mr. Lungu following the DPP's nolle prosequi. Now, if the contents of the letter are indeed true, then we think that this casts very serious doubts on the DPP's real motive in this matter. We would like Astia to remind the DPP that some form of a separation of powers exists when it comes to criminal matters, and this entails that the roles of investigating, arresting, and prosecution are not performed by the same entity. We would therefore like to caution the DPP against abrogating this fundamental constitutional principle by acting outside the perimeters of what the law provides for the operation of the DPP. According to Article 180 of the Constitution of Zambia, as amended in 2016, the DPP has powers to discontinue criminal investigations at any point before a judgment is made. There is, however, no provision in the Constitution or in any other piece of legislation where the office of the DPP is given powers to instruct law enforcement agencies such as the DEC on when to arrest or investigate suspects. TIZ is therefore astonished that the DPP is claiming powers that her office does not possess. Furthermore, Section 85(1) of the Criminal Procedure Code Act allows law enforcement agencies to arrest suspects without the consent of the DPP. It is the decision to prosecute a case that rests with the DPP and not that of arresting suspects. In light of this, TIZ is of the view that rather than calling for the DEC to exculpate themselves concerning the rearrest of Mr. Lungu, it is the DPP herself who needs to exculpate herself in the eyes of the public by explaining the rationale behind the nolle prosequi that she entered in this case. The DPP is a public office, and regardless of the security of tenure and the discretionary powers vested in it, the office of the DPP should be seen to always be acting in public interest and in the interest of justice. TIZ further reminds the UPND administration on the need for legal reforms to allow for a more meaningful and effective fight against corruption. Having noted the limitations imposed on the fight against corruption by the discretionary powers vested in the office of the DPP, including powers to discontinue cases at will, there is need to amend the Constitution and other related laws in order to enhance the transparency and accountability of the DPP and to strengthen the independence of law enforcement agencies.
The Ministry of Health has detected 2 suspected cases of cholera in Matero a day after one case of the waterborne disease was confirmed at Lusaka's Kalingalinga clinic. Minister in charge Sylvia Masebo said that the 2 new cases are being managed at Matero Level 1 Hospital awaiting confirmatory results. Meanwhile, the minister has assured that the Ministry of Health is committed to end cholera by 2025. She said this is being done through the Multi-Sectoral Cholera Elimination Plan 2019-2025, which was launched at the World Health Assembly in 2019. The plan has outlined a comprehensive package of services to be offered in an integrated manner at national, subnational, communities and household levels to mitigate the risk of cholera outbreaks. Mazabuka Municipal Council says it will soon move in and clear up stray dogs that have not been vaccinated against rabies. Council Cleansing Manager Mr. Tembo Moyowata Mazabuka says Mazabuka has always been sensitizing members of the public on the consequences of not registering dogs to the council. He says that the law is very clear on how many dogs one should keep to avoid them from loitering. Mr. Moyowata says Mazabuka has had sporadic cases of suspected rabies due to the high population of unvaccinated dogs. He has, however, urged dog owners in Mazabuka to take responsibility for their dogs by vaccinating them. Mr. Moyowata said this today during the Musanza TV's Holistic Health program in the afternoon.
Well, my colleague that was connected with I want to agree on all these things. However, the point is that we are encouraging dog owners to have their dogs vaccinated, registered, and confined. Very soon and so soon, like we did last year, all dogs which were not confined, they are considered stray dogs. As long as even if it's registered, it needs to be vaccinated. If it's not confined, then it's suspended. And those are different. Let me take advantage to also inform the public that when the tag order is on, it's quite a pity. You know that your dog is not vaccinated or is not registered, you want to hide it in the bedroom. And a dog is a dog. At the time when you are coming to care, it will be barking from the bedroom, unfortunately. So in that case, let's not go to the extent where we would want to confine a dog because they need that. Let's take this as a practice. A dog is going to be an animal which is a best friend to man. Okay? So let's take care of this dog so that it's not considered as a stray dog. Once a dog is a stray, it will be eliminated. And so soon the chance of it is going down, going on the ground, to eliminate all stray dogs.
You are still watching Musanza TV main news. Let's go for our first set of commercials. When I come back, we'll continue with the news. Stay tuned.
Zanungera kunuka lero. Ipase mafu ya kamina nchana. Iyo ntata iyo nsanya iyo. Ipase mafu ya kamina. Iyo. Leta mafu ya kamina.
News, sports, music, culture, tourism, fashion, education, and laughter. Musanza TV, viewers first.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We continue with the news. An anemia patient of Ngwezi settlement in Magoye, Mazaboka district says he is still appealing for help from well-wishers to assist him by a wheelchair to ease his daily movements. Kosten Hansaga has been receiving treatment since March 2021. We have details in the following report. Anemia is a blood disorder in which the blood has a reduced ability to carry oxygen due to a lower than a normal number of red blood cells or a reduction in the amount of hemoglobin. According to a discharge slip from a named hospital in Southern Province, where Kosten Hansaga has been receiving treatment since March 2021, he has been diagnosed with PTBC anemia for over 1 year now. Born in 1992 in Ngwezi settlement, Chief Angelica's chiefdom in Mazaboka district, Kosten has been battling for his life as his parents are in their old age and his only father uses crutches to walk and cannot lift anything as it demands Kosten in every life since the illness started. The family can no longer afford a bed and proper beddings for him, nor a wheelchair to ease his life and give him hope for life, are appealing to good wishes to come to their aid and help their son, who is now in his 30s and 1 year chronically ill.
Jisimurwazi tendi aindi nagatali woka ni hamwaga nindo ndilomba lukwa hono bantu butalila wona ayagulia tajisi tulipengete maningi ndilomba vya maningi ndilalombeha tendi yonse ja kuti tumutole toilet tayigo so kuti kakutako bantu banyamuna kuti batole ku toilet mapensi ngapenda pakete kuile kuli bihanya nebwano andime munyongo hu ulajiswa takutatuke dagabo tutako
mwana wangu imemo hala ulajiswa nguzwa mwagali taendi bali utekwa kutibyo mu maho So ndagomba nobantu muli bahali gale ndilamba kuti mundi gwahirihe mugamu gwahiriha mwana wangu agona ulipengete tagugwa hagumulira pai tabali tonse tuli nyongenyi tatwendi maulu tulamba kuti mumugwahirihe agulya gawilo cheya maulu tendi yandika kugwahiriha bya maningi mapaita jisita agomba twagomba tulamba bya ulindunye mwabola andunye mumankampanamwi tulamba lugwayo.
This was in the wake of his church members at Chizwanyanga SDA Church, who thought of inviting well-wishers to help the young man realize his dream for life and the passion he has for God. Mr. Fines Mulima, who represented the church, also had his own appeal to the government and other organizations to come on board and help Kosten with a wheelchair and in any other form of help.
The viewers out there, whatever station of life they are in, we want to ask or appeal to them in a special way that you can come to the aid of this young man who is now not able to walk because of the illness that has crippled him. He is a very stout member of the Seventh-day Adventist who was a choir member, and now he has not visited the church for quite a long time. Hence, the idea that came out, so that the media could come in and maybe spread this news to others that have the resources, to come to his aid. We are asking for help, especially, the wheelchair and the bed where he can, rest. And also spiritually, we ask for prayers so that, God can heal him. We have not yet lost hope. We still believe that, God can open the way for him and heal him.
His condition needs agents from well-wishers to save his life and give hope also to his parents, who are also fighting their struggle. The hope only remains in the hands of those who believe in change. As it is said, blessed is the hand that gives. Any help to him will surely be a plus to his life, as he has hope that one day he is going to be fine. This is Vanson Chomba reporting for Musanza TV in Magoe, Mazaboka District. Lusaka High Court Judge Justice Susan Wangelan has summoned a Drug Enforcement Commission boss Mary Chirwa to testify in a matter in which Lusaka businessman Harry Finlay has sued government in the High Court as seeking a declaratory order that the Drug Enforcement Commission unfreezes his bank accounts held at First Alliance Bank Limited. Mr. Finlay, acting together with his wife Desleva Finlay and D. Finlay and Associates, Twatotela Properties Limited, Charisma 8th Moving Equipment Limited, and Greenview Service Providers Limited have petitioned the Lusaka High Court, citing the Attorney General as a respondent. According to a petition filed in Lusaka's High Court, Mr. Finlay states that just after the announcement of the 2021 general elections, the Financial Intelligence Center directed the freezing of bank accounts held at a First Alliance Bank without any formal communication to the petitioners. The petitioners therefore are seeking a court order that the direction by the FIC boss to seize the accounts on the suspicion that the funds domiciled at First Capital Bank were acquired from money laundering are illegal, wrongful, and breach of their constitutional rights. The petitioner also wants the court to order that they be compensated for the loss incurred by the said action.
Lusaka High Court Judge Justice Susan Wangelan has summoned a Drug Enforcement Commission boss Mary Chirwa to testify in a matter in which Lusaka businessman Harry Finlay has sued government in the High Court as seeking a declaratory order that the Drug Enforcement Commission unfreezes his bank accounts held at First Alliance Bank without any formal communication to the petitioners. The petitioners are seeking a court order that the direction by the FIC boss to seize the accounts on the suspicion that the funds domiciled at First Capital Bank were acquired from money laundering are illegal, wrongful, and breach of their constitutional rights. The petitioner also wants the court to order that they be compensated for the loss incurred by the said action.
Now, Jackson Slavwe, president of Golden Party of Zambia GPZ, says President Hakainde Hichilema should apply maximum focus on one economic sector, making it awake and use it to pull other sectors. Mr. Slavwe says the unbalanced growth strategy will help the new Dawn administration to fix the economic mismanagement by the previous regime, whilst introducing fresh ideals in other sectors. He tells Musanza TV that the agriculture sector has suitable backward and forward linkages to initiate robust economic growth. Mr. Slavwe states that since attacking over all the sectors at the same time is proving to be doing nothing at the moment. Some residents of Magoe in Mazapoka district in Southern Province have called for more information on how they can access funding under the Constituents Development Fund. We have details in the following report. Inasmuch as the UPND-led government remains committed to boosting rural economic activities in the constituents by supporting constituents to engage them in small business and income-generating activities targeted at alleviating poverty and improving their livelihoods in the Magoe constituents of Mazapoka district, people feel the funding will fall into wrong hands. Stephen Mungolo is a Magoe businessman who feels the information on how to apply for CDF in most of the constituencies in the country has not reached intended purpose due to the involvement of the area member of parliament officers.
IMA ministries are involved in muleta information from the national, provincial up to the district. Agajala mushule. Ijiri mchagwamba utiulumende wakibuzwa ku CDF. Igutola ku CDF National Assembly masana moto hira. Ayamala akabola block figure. Bakabola block figure kwa muntu wonse uyanda maru yakwaja na mugusana bongaye bomwe. Ono ku information izwa mu office aya kuti ibole ku seto community. To mutu wapatira agulela agambwa kuti jali bonya nguti jiri mutu zanyu. Ibantu babweza face and information aguyobola. Baba yabalike bali kulibonya iji twali ku campaign ali mwagobota. Bali bonya nguti bamba bwe noberele kutoa information muba hii mu bantu. Olokulira kwe swagulomba kwe sumuli committee ko kwamba kuti i office ya parliament say ayaendelea into yabantu. Abajite involve abagomme ebwendelezibwa twambo babweze ma stakeholders bali mu minzi ingurumende mbo iberesha bamwe tugisiwa ntugisiba ito tubasimabu tugisibendeze ma cooperative tugisibendeze ma church alimu abasoli bambande ne banji mitulomba kuti aba bantu tubabi kwanto omwe ku information dissemination.
Were left out when it comes to information dissemination on how to apply for CDF. She says the people at the forefront have been hiding information from them, alleging them of overcharging when it comes to registration of cooperatives.
Itwambo twamuga igutuma so abantu bali habwa umukuti program eyita mu India samba odieno to so trombera buli balatala amitwe yasu ikuti abatweta twambo mu kuhambana tegwa tuzibihanye ajindi tupanye ma program antu omwe utegwa tonse tuzibire ngati mudone sambo titwambo tu sabatu sisa ko kuti wina ini kwenda tuyakujala bombono ubutupengete so tromba lusumpugo uri ba community develop ikuti abazinjira ma meetings wonse abahwa wonse ambo ma meetings akutwamira ne good right time inose umwe umuntu ajana data ukuchita awa apply hey ama CDF to apply akabo twatuma twasika kuya atika mtupa malali wo papa mali ali mwe kuyandika malapi natulaja na uli mali kamboso tuli muyanda ula mali yo no twaye uti basangi lumenda ayitu yeye chakutuchitira kama mungini mwa uti twapenga ano potu bete twateka ku mwansoni abantu baya mtu akali kukuba yajindira ina inonya kuti twapengera aliyo sibo potu bete tuchisimali mara atalika kunkakuba kubali so tobajete tulajeta ilani.
Recently, the government disbursed the Constituents Development Funds to all the 156 constituencies in the country. In Zambia, the Constituents Development Fund was introduced in 1995 as an instrument to facilitate the deliverance of public developmental goods and services directly to local communities. Despite the introduction of the fund, the provision of and access to basic essential public service by local communities has remained poor in Zambia, but the only hope is in the New Dawn government after it increased the allocation from 1.6 million kwacha to 25.7 million kwacha per constituents in the 2022 national budget. This is Vanson Chomba reporting from Musanza TV in Magoe. A 45-year-old man has escaped death from a crocodile attack in Namomba area of Chief Sigongo in the lower Zambezi River in Savonga district in Southern Province. Senior headman Mulopa Boniface has since called on the government to intervene and address the issue, as 3 weeks ago a crocodile killed a man, adding that the Office of National Parks and Wildlife have not managed to kill the reptile. Mr. Mulopa revealed to Musanza TV that Jack Wale escaped a crocodile attack as he was in the canoe trying to cross the Zambezi River. When the crocodile attacked the canoe he was in.
Okay. Inandine headman Boniface Mulopa. Nina vyaka 56. Ndine headman mkuru kuna Momba. So lero chamene chitika nchakuti ma 16 hours Jackie Bwale enze kuyenda kuti akagule nsomba no perekako cheni vitumbua vogulisa na vinango vogulisa pamene chikuba kuli mafisha manamene wana camping huko. So pamene afika pa press pamene panarumiwa discopan around 16 hours mwena futi ya bwela mwena ikuru. Then pamene afika pa boat nye kuchita bwanji yavula kamwe manje oti imulume nye kuitia nkafi then uchoka akeheze abwela mumanzi nye kusamba kuchoka fast. So katundi yonse maflawa vitumbua mashuga vinangu vonse bashita bwanji vaenda. So sibuka enzeeka ye kuita na inango mchiteni Musonda James Musonda ambe sabe muntu angolira sabe angopunda mawe vile muntu amena chitachitena amena alira ye kuenda mumbali kweza ni chani timwena ya nchita ataki. So kuchoka hapo chivuka kuja kuntuni kutali. So Musonda ambweresa manje kuna mumba ku clinic. So apateze kupempa i issue ni kuru maningi 3 days ago hapa tezinakamba oti sometimes tunankare meeting oreda ma headman once lower Zambezi even to suppose ukara coping ya crocodile bantu bangorumiwa na mahipo bangorumiwa na mwena kuri chameti wana. Few days ago kuli chongo maybe ni anarumwa kumwena tunashika manje siko pano ukapita madeza ambili hapa na hivi tunashika manje lero 16 hours futi asitu ataki. Sote za upempa ma DC Kirundu Savonga ma MPs bonse tinkale pamozi inkani ya kula maningi bantu bagasi da police zikom.
Chieftainess Mwenda of the Wasanje Tonga-speaking people of Chikankara district of Southern Province says rampant road fatalities along 10 Park Mazabuka Road and 10 Park Kachirundi Road in Southern Province is a sad development. The traditional leader says something should be done to prevent people from dying unnecessarily from road accidents. She says that those managing the road sector in the nation should pull up their socks and put aspiriums where they are supposed to be to avoid loss of innocent lives. Chieftainess Wenda observes lack of seriousness from the responsible departments as people giving the same complaints about the same problem for a long time. Republican President Hakainde Hichilema is on Wednesday, 13th April 2022, expected to visit Katimba Ward in Monze district. Monze Central Constituency MP Jack Mwimbo confirmed the development to the media that President Hichilema is visiting Monze to thank the people of Katimba Ward for the unwavering support during the last year's election. Mr. Mwimbo says President Hichilema's visits will be the first in Monze Central Constituency from the time he became the president. Mr. Mwimbo has, however, called on people of Monze district and other districts around to turn up in large numbers to receive the president. Mr. Mwimbo, who is also Home Affairs and Internal Security, advised the Monze residents to take the advantage to meet and greet the president, as this opportunity is not common. Katimba Ward is scheduled for a by-election on Thursday, 14th April 2022. The by-election has been caused by the death of UPND Councillor Nefas Hajbala earlier this year. 4 political parties are participating in the by-election, namely Patriotic Front PF, Flinta Simahuna, Democratic Party DP Guide Hakopa, Leadership Movement LM Bran Mwemba, and ruling United Party for National Development UPND Bran Chungula. Let's go for our last set of commercials. When I come back, it's international and sports news.
Refresh your body, mind and soul this sizzling summer. Introducing the refreshing Clear with Nature's Test Aqua Gel Purified Mineral Water, ultimately designed to quench your thirst with a revitalizing and refreshing taste. Stock available: 750 ml, 500 ml, 350 ml, 500 ml sachets, and 18.9 liters containers. Drink and enjoy your purified and corporately packaged water, which passes all tests. Live better, drink better. Call 0776 452710 or 0760 732565 now to make your order. Aqua J for a refreshing sip.
Attention to all Mazabuka parents and schools. Abivist Gardens presents the first ever Abivist Gardens Spelling Bee. That's right. Does your child or pupil have what it takes to become the spelling champions of the town? Visit Abivist Gardens located in KLB for registrations. Competing ages: Group A, 6 to 10 years old. Participation fee is only 50 kwacha. Group B, 11 to 15 years old. Participation fee is only 100 kwacha. Amazing prizes to be won by our spelling champions. For more details, contact +260 7728 32885 or +260 976 609467. Abivist Gardens, your events paradise, promoting the development of bright minds.
Welcome back, and now in international and sports news. The Democratic Republic of Congo's Court of Cassation accepted Vital Kamehe's appeal and overturned his 13 years prison sentence over corruption allegations. The case is now referred to Kinshasa Gombe Court of Appeal, where new judges will be appointed. In 2018, Kamehe withdrew in favor of Tshisekedi at the end of the presidential campaign, and according to an agreement between the two men was to be a candidate in the next election scheduled for 2023.
DRC's Court of Cassation has accepted Vital Kamerhi's appeal and overturned his 13 years prison sentence over corruption allegations. The case is now referred to Kinshasa Kombe Court of Appeal, where new judges will be appointed. For the last 2 years, President Felix Tshisekedi's former cabinet director has been accused of the embezzlement of nearly $50 million meant for the construction of prefabricated houses for the military and police. Kamerhi, 63, was first convicted to 20 years in prison in April 2020. It was reduced to 13 years in prison on appeal in June 2021. Last December, the senior politician was granted a conditional release for health reasons. His lawyers claim his treatment is to prevent him from running in the 2023 presidential election, as the Congolese law does not permit people convicted of corruption to participate in the race.
And in sports news, the 2022 ABSA Cup final between Red Arrows and NAPSA Stars has been moved to April 30th, 2022. In a statement issued to Musanza TV, Football Association of Zambia General Secretary Adrian Kashala said that this follows consultations with the sponsor and other stakeholders to change the date of the final match that was initially set for 16th April 2022. He did not give reasons why the match has been pushed forward, but he said the venue remains at National Heroes Stadium, adding that the association is confident the 2022 ABSA Cup final will be the biggest ever. This story brings us to the end of the evening news, but before I go, the headlines again. President HH expected in Monze on Wednesday. GPZ asked HH to focus on one economic sector. Chieftainess Mwenda worried with continued accidents on Turnpike Mazabuka Road. In international news, a DRC court sets free Felix Tshisekedi's Ali. And in sports, ABSA Cup final moved forward to 30th April 2022. This is all we had for you tonight. On behalf of my transmission controller and the entire news team, my name is Vanson Jomba. Join us tomorrow at 6:30 hours for another news bulletin. For now, I'm saying good night and keep on watching Musanza TV.